This is the weekly reading for Libra. And the first card that you have is Endurance. And with the Endurance card, this is letting me know that you have basically been in a place of just really kind of wanting to kind of give up and be hopeless and feel hopeless and not have any faith right now that things are moving forward, that things are actually manifesting the way that they're supposed to. They're unfolding the way that they are supposed to, because our souls are controlling our soul's journey, our life's journey, and there are no mistakes with that. And there are things going on behind the scenes, even if you can't see them. So this card here means that you really need to be in a place of deep faith and trust and believe that this process is working out the way it's supposed to. Then you have the Eight of Wands, the travel card. And with this card, it could indicate travel, but the message that I'm getting from Spirit loud and clear is that this means that the things that you are trying to manifest are coming towards you. There is forward movement. The wands are about forward movement, and this is going to be happening. But make sure you're very clear about what you want. And don't have a backup plan, because a lot of times we want to have a backup plan and we want to say, oh, good things just don't happen to me. So I need to prepare for the worst. My mom used to say, hope for the best and prepare for the worst. Well, do not be in this energy, because the universe can't differentiate and they can't tell between, okay, does she or he want this, or do they want that? And so be very clear about your intentions, about what you want, and then get out of your own way. Don't block yourself by seeing it only happen in one certain way, because you limit the universe that way. You have the Hermit card, Contemplation. So basically the message that I'm getting with this card is that you have been depleting your own self. Being way too focused on others and not too focused on yourself. And sometimes we do this to kind of avoid our own shit. So a lot of times we'll get involved in other people's shit because it takes the focus off of us. So this card is saying that you need to spend more time working with your own soul energy. And this means going within and really connecting to your source of power. And not seeking outward validation, not seeking comfort or attachments elsewhere with other people, breaking any type of codependency you might have right now. That message came through loud and clear. And then with the Death card, this means that there's some endings taking place so that new things can begin. A lot of times we resist this. A lot of times we resist this Death or this Tower card because we judge it as being bad. We're like, oh, woe is me. Everything has gone wrong. Things are just not going the way that I want them to. How did I attract these situations? I've stayed positive. I've been in a place of deep faith and deep knowing, and yeah, I attracted these situations. Why? And I have been in this energy a lot lately. And basically the message that's coming through is that things have to end so that new things can begin. And just don't judge or resist this situation. And honor your feelings, but don't let your emotions take over you. Basically, emotions are like, we have a thought and then we have a belief behind that thought. And that is what causes our emotions. So it's good to, whenever you're feeling really strong emotions, and these can be jealousy, these can be envy, strife, it could be deep feelings of, fears of rejection or whatever else that is coming up. These all come from a thought. So look back on whatever thought it was that you had and whatever belief in that thought that you had, and look at it differently. And it's all about shining light on things. We have things hidden in our shadow side. And sometimes it takes a card like this for those things to come to the light. And once they come to the light and you're conscious and you're aware of them, I mean, that's the same as healing. You don't have to do all this like healing rituals or whatever else. Just bring it to your consciousness and to your awareness, and that is enough. You have the Strength and Stability card, and this goes along with that Endurance card. This is all about staying in that place of deep faith and hope and being fearless. No matter what comes up, be fearless. Don't be afraid. Have that warrior heart, you know. And I'm not saying protect your heart, always keep your heart open, but when we love fearlessly, we do this with no fears whatsoever. No fears of being hurt, no fears of being rejected, no fears of being abandoned, because we don't really even need anyone outside of ourselves, because we're complete and whole on our own. And we have the High Honor card. And I'm getting, you know, this card here, what I'm getting is that a lot of people look to you and look up to you and respect you. They do, but make sure that you don't need that you're not seeking that on a daily basis. Make sure that you yourself know what kind of person you are, and let that be all that matters. Don't be self-seeking, because that is from the ego. You got the Adjudication card. And this is all about balancing. This is all about being balanced. And this is all about not letting your emotions or letting your thoughts get away from you and guide you, but following your intuition. And that means working with your soul energy and really connecting within, because you have everything within that you need. And it's just a matter of realizing this and stepping into your power and not seeking anything else from anyone else, but being balanced within. That message came through loud and clear. And once you start balancing, and I got both these cards here. I'm not gonna hold them. I'm just gonna show you. You've got the Wealthy Man and the Lover's card, and this is wealth and money. And once you clear these blocks and you balance yourself and you transform after these cycles that have just recently ended, and you stay in a place of faith and endurance and strength and stability, love and money can come in when you are no longer blocking yourself and you are in a place of balance. But you cannot seek outside of yourself, basically. Basically, what you have to do is you have to clear your fears. And once you clear your fears and you stop having that backup plan, or stop creating by default of, okay, well, I'm just going to prepare for the worst, or I am not even worthy of what it is that I'm trying to manifest. But you are, because you do have the Highest Honor card, and you are balancing. So once you do this, then love and money can come to you, because they are the same frequency, and you can have the same blocks to money that you have to love. So you clear one, you clear the other one, because we're all energy. You just have to be in energetic alignment to it. You know, because that's all this is all about balancing energy. And once you balance your energy, and you just have to shift just enough in your ascension, just shift enough to be able to align to this, and then everything else will fall into place, because you can't go back with your ascension. This is a forward moving process. So once you start spiritually awakening, there's no going back. So basically that message came through, and you are balancing. The Monster Within. Internal struggle, personal challenges, wanting to improve. The way that you improve is by shining light on your shadow side. So whenever something does come up, like a death card or a tower moment, don't judge that as good or bad. Actually look at it, and whatever comes up, whatever emotions and thoughts come up, because they're very connected, look at them and shine light on your shadow side. Becoming conscious of it and bringing it to the light is all the healing you need to do, and everything else will come into place. Everything. That's what has to happen. Stalked, invaded, and watched. You are too focused right now on what you are trying to achieve. And when you are so focused on something and holding on so tightly, it can't come back to you. That energy is not flowing. You're holding on to it. When you let go, it can flow and come back, but your fears are prohibiting you from actually moving forward. Have you ever noticed that anything in your life that once you just kind of let it go and you're just like, I don't need care anymore, I'm focused on something else, and then that thing comes back around, if it's meant to. And sometimes stuff just falls off, and it's because it wasn't for you to begin with. But I know whenever I chase anything, I push it further away. So this is all about letting go and letting flow, and not focusing too much on it. The Misfit, Loner, and Wanderer card, Outsider. This card here, I would say that it goes along with the Hermit card, but this is a different energy. The energy that I'm getting from this card is that you feel like an outsider. You're trying real hard to fit in, and you don't even have to do that. You need to stand on your own 2 feet and to be independent, and to know that you yourself are enough. You are complete and whole within yourself, and you don't even need anyone else. You don't need to belong to anyone else. And the other message that I'm getting loud and clear is to disconnect from the collective for a while, the collective consciousness, and go within and really, really get to know yourself. Religion, canon, rules, and commandments. And the message that I'm getting real loud and clear with this card is that your beliefs are very rigid and very strict, and that you are not willing and open to consider other views or other, to even, think that, this card here is hard to describe the energy, but the energy that I'm getting is have you ever met someone, they're like, they just don't want to budge. They're like, this is how I believe, and that's just how it is. And they might even be wrong, but they're not even willing to admit when they're wrong, and they're stagnant, and they're not growing. They're just standing still. And this is all about opening your mind, freeing your mind, and just growing and changing and going with the flow, and not being so rigid. That's the word that came through, was rigid. Not being so rigid. But yes, this is your reading for the week of March 13th, Libra, and I'm going to be doing these readings every week, little mini readings. They may eventually be longer, but I do kind of like to get right to the point and have shorter readings, because I know I don't always have time to sit and watch a half hour to an hour reading. A lot of times I have to break it up and watch it in bits and pieces, and I feel like I don't get the whole thing in its entirety. But I will eventually maybe make these a little longer. But this is your weekly reading, Libra.